Couple of last little things before we save this file and export as a PDF. Just want to show you a few more type things and an alignment tool. So for instance, I have this polka dot, the new perfume by Chanel, Let Your Dots Free, and I've used the same typeface for all of these. Now if you want to create some differentiation between them, I can use a different font for this. I can use, say, a medium, and then I can select all of these and just change the font size slightly. Am I clicking on it? There we go. I can uncheck the all caps. Then I'm going to have to go back and capitalize some of this. Chanel, Let Your Dots Free. I don't want a hyphen here, so I'm going to change the, I'm going to click on it using my selection tool. I'm just going to drag out the frame a little bit so I make sure the perfume is not hyphenated. I might want to, I don't know, italicize this. Let's find an italic font. There we go. And click on my selection tool. I'm just going to close down my windows again by pressing tab. I don't want that so close to the edge of the page. So I'm just going to actually click on that and just use my arrow keys to move over that. And it's moving it very, very slowly. So I'm actually going to press Shift using my arrow keys to move that over, or you can just use your selection tool. And if I press Shift, and make sure that it moves kind of perfectly on a 90 degree or 90 degree angle. That's what I'm saying, as opposed to if I just don't press Shift, it just kind of moves however the cursor moves. So if I want to move it perfectly at 90 degrees or 90 degrees vertically, it will do that. So I'm just going to move it over pressing Shift. And so you have a little bit of differentiation between the fonts here. I want to press Tab again to get my windows. Say for instance I can even double click on these, and I can use up here in my doc, I can change the paragraph to centered. I can change flush left, flush right. I just want to keep it flush left. I might want to align this logo with the text. So I can click on both. The only thing I have to do before that is make sure that there's no extra width to that frame. So now if I click on both by pressing Shift click and I go align to selection, and I press center here. Now you'll see that that didn't really work because it's aligned to the actual frame of the text. So if I just go back here and I make sure to click on my fit frame to content, it's going to, now when I click on both of them and I align, it's going to do that. Not quite perfectly, but I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. And I just clicked on it and I press Shift and my arrow keys. So you might have to just use your arrow key, Shift arrow key a little bit. I'm actually going to select both of them and just move them over slightly. Shift arrow key, something like that. If I want to change the size of this logo, I can click on the bottom handle here. Remember, Shift Command, and I'm just going to drag it. And now it doesn't always do it easily, so you have to just kind of hover over it slightly, just kind of let it figure it out for a second and just do it very slowly, and I can change the size of that logo. Again, I'm just going to move it over a little bit, move it up a little bit, just kind of eyeballing it here. Now once you have something that you like, actually one more thing, I'm just going to, oops, Control Z to undo that. I'm going to actually copy this text box, and I can either do that by pressing Command C to copy and press Command V to copy that text box, or Control Z to just get rid of that. I can go up here and go Edit, Copy, and then Edit, Paste, and that appears again. Or I can go click on it, press Option Command, and drag it, and it will create a perfect copy. And you see that double little arrow turns up, so that means that I am creating a copy. And if I press Shift it will copy and move it perfectly horizontally. So I'm just going to drag that to the bottom again, and I'm just going to actually delete all this text and delete that text, and I'm just going to click on it again, selection tool, just shift, drag it down a little bit, and I'm going to put the URL there. So the URL again was polka dot by Chanel.com. And now again I have to modify the size of that frame by dragging the frame out a little bit to accommodate that .com. Keep going, keep going. And let me just double click on it, and it will allow me to manipulate the text within that frame. Go back to the character formatting. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller, maybe 12 point. Click on my selection tool, click on my fit content to frame, and I'm just going to drag it, holding down the shift key just a little wee bit. So that looks okay to me. If you want to add anything else, but that's pretty much all that you need. Simple, kind of to the audience, cute, funky, kind of like the American Apparel ad. So we need now to save this, so you have to go File, Save. Locate where you want to save it, so I'm just going to call it last name underscore first name, and I'm going to call it perfume. And I'm creating an InDesign document here, so just press save. And there we go. Now, you cannot upload this image to the Dropbox. What InDesign does is, again, it places the images, it creates this very small file type. If we go back to this, we can see here it's a 1.4 megabyte. So it's a very small file. So do not upload this InDesign file to the Dropbox. You will not receive marks for your exercise. What I want you to do is export a PDF. And how you do that, you go File, Export, and I want to make sure the format is PDF print, and press Save. Now, this is the industry standard, so I want you to get used to this at the very beginning of this. I want you to use the preset, the PDFX/1A 2001. You can use the 2004, whatever. Use the first one here, the 2001. And what that does, it's going to compress any image that is over whatever you say it's going to be. So you might have an image that's 1200 DPI, 15,000 DPI. Doesn't matter. The printer only needs 300 DPI, so any image that's over 300 DPI, it's going to compress it to 300 DPI. So you can even just change this, that any image over 300 DPI is going to be compressed to 300 DPI. And then another thing that this PDFX allows you to do is say all printers marks, crop marks, bleed marks. You can just click all printers marks to make it simplified. And then you want to use your document bleeds. So remember, we have bleeds. These, well, we can't see that right now, but if I go back, just press Escape and press W so you can see the bleeds. Remember those bleed lines? So when you save this PDFX, export it again, you PDF print, save. I want PDFX. And that's good. Good idea to check View PDFX after exporting, just so you know that you've done it correctly. I want to change the compression. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Anything over 450 is fine. That's kind of the standard, but you can change it to 300. And you at least want to have your crop and your bleed marks and your use document bleeds if you have bleeds. Or you can just say bleed marks. And when you click on that, make sure that you have click on bleed marks as well. And press export, and you'll see, oh, I have some overset text. So I'm going to go back and make sure that there's no errors, and I can see here that there are some errors. So I'm going to pre-flight panel. Where do I have overset type? If I just double click on that, oh, because I have those extra windows open, I forgot. Or I created those extra pages. So I'm just going to delete those. I just go shift click, or just click on one of those, delete, click on one of those, delete, and now I have, oh, that was not the one I wanted to. What's the one I wanted to use? This is the one, page 3. So I'm going to actually press page 2 and shift and click page 1 and delete them. And now I'm just going to save again, or press Command Save. And now I'm going to press Command Export or Command E. I'm going to save it as a PDF print. PDFX. Make sure that I have View PDF after exporting. I have my marks and bleeds, all printer crop marks, and document bleed setting export. And you'll see what happens. It's going to take a while to generate that PDF. There you go. So we have our crop marks, our bleed marks, our color, our gradient, and our registration mark. So this is the file that you would send to the printer. We have the date that it's created, the file name, and that's all you need to do. I would like you to submit this file.